So the last 36 hours has been hell for yours truly. I must say, it's not uncommon for yours truly to go through what I've been through the last 36 hours, going to the doctors by myself, handling the abuse case by myself, witnessing my abusers lying in front of the social workers themselves. My father, former father, refused to sit down at the family meeting himself because he knew he messed up big time during the trial. He committed perjury. For those of you who are up to date with this situation of yours truly, good for you, because you'll be able to catch up with what has been going on. But I'm gonna try to be as objective as possible. Okay. So during the meeting, before the doctor's appointment, which was the day before yesterday. Okay. (14th of July) at 5 p.m. GMT +8. So my social worker and my abuser's social worker came over to have this family meeting, which has been postponed, or shall I say, should have taken place a long time ago, before trial. And the reason why, through that meeting, I finally come to realization that I finally understand why. I finally cracked the mystery why the social workers refuse to give their official testimony of my visit during the first time that they saw me. I finally cracked the mystery, coming out from her own mouth. Because in her written record and testimony, in her social work, she immediately believed my abuser's words, that I'm the bad seed of the household. And she immediately decided, on behalf of yours truly, without my consent and acknowledgement, that I'm the one that who seek them out for help to get a rental place of my own, which was not the case. Following so far? Everybody? And I told her straight in her face during the family meeting a few times, you need to stop putting this narrative in my mouth. You need to stop putting these words in my mouth. I did not agree to any rental flat help from you guys. You guys seek me out on your own terms. And I can only assume that social worker who is supporting my abuser, emotional support, by the way, that's what she claims. I can only assume that she believed everything that my abusers said. The social workers came into the picture months after they were informed or misinformed about the actual situation happening in this family. I was the last to come into the picture. I feel sorry for my own social worker. I want to clarify that he will always have my back. He is not the one in trouble because he was fed with fake information that I'm the one that's seeking rental flat assistance. So during the very first time, around probably 7 months ago, during around the same time, soon after I met my abuser's social worker. It's a her, yeah. Let's call her, she. Let's not name anybody, yeah. So my social worker is a male, so he's gonna be he. The female social worker is gonna be she, for the abusers. Alright. So soon after the very first time, she, the social worker, saw me. It's an unannounced visit, by the way. Yeah. I totally get it. I totally agree. She is there being manipulated into this situation by my abusers to do her job. She didn't know the truth. She just bought into the bullshit that my abusers told her. And unfortunately told my social worker as well. That I'm the bad seed of this family. With facts, police records, testimony, witnesses, by the way, social worker themselves, yeah, policemen, judge. It's proven since day one, when I met with my social worker, he, the social worker, that this issue has all been started by my abusers, who wants me out of the house so that they can live a more comfortable life at my expense. Two of the abusers, inclusive the main abuser, misuse my information without my consent with the government HDB authority. That's a criminal offense, yeah? That's one. Number two, the splashing of water incident by one of the abusers, my former sister. That's also another incident. So what happened was this. When she, the social worker who is claiming to give emotional support to aka my mother, one of the abusers, she saw me for the very first time 7, 8 months ago. She immediately decided when she first saw me, right, which I can only assume and allege, yeah, that I'm actually the real bad seed. And she decided on my behalf, I should be seeking for rental flat assistance to get out of the house, pushing her client's agenda and not mine. She never investigate. She never found out anything about what's been going on over my side of the story, only until I met with my social worker. He, the social worker. I want to say at this point, right, I feel really bad that my social worker, who is committed, who has a heart to want to do the right thing, but he was caught in the middle of this fudging matter because of one negligence of a social worker. To investigate, to hear the story over my side, and to immediately push the narrative of I want to seek help for a rental flat in my mouth, claiming that it was me. It doesn't align anymore. Everybody who is got caught up in this fucked up piece of shit story, right? I feel sorry for you. Those of you who are innocent, social workers. But we cannot deny about one fact. For the last 7 months, whenever there's an abuse going on or gone, I will always inform the abuser's social worker, she. Even after months of proof and proof and proof, forwarding her all the information that she needs to know what this story is all about, she continued to keep claiming that it was me that wanted to seek help for the rental flat, and it was her who just wants to help give emotional support to my abusers. To get into the whole big hoo-ha of why this thing even started to begin with, it's gonna be a long story, so please be patient with me. It was spoken during the family meeting 36 hours ago. Wait, what was I saying? I lost my line of thought, I'm sorry. 36 hours ago, during the family meeting, it was already brought to light that hold on, okay guys, let me recall what I want to say because I got distracted by Viker's chat. Yeah, Vikers, hi, how's it going? Welcome to the live stream, man. Yes, this video is recorded live. This story started as spoken during the family meeting, which should have taken place way before my social worker and her, the social worker who claims to be supporting, giving emotional support to my abusers. This family meeting should have taken place months ago. Way before we had to go through trial, way before we have to talk about this even. On live streams, past live streams. If she did her due diligence, pledge her oath as a social worker to serve the unfortunate, underprivileged and or abused, it wouldn't have come to this video today, or that family meeting 36 hours ago, or even the family freaking trial. The starting of the whole story here is this. When I first moved back home here in this residence, my former parents, biological parents, abusers' place, it was back in 2019. My work on Twitch was catching up in terms of it was doing really good, and I started to make really loud noises at the residence of my former family, adoptive family. I don't want to name him into this picture as well, yeah? But those of you who knows him, you know him. I owe my life, my career to him. So because of the inconvenience I have imposed on him, the loud noises and him not able to smoke his cigar, I have no choice but to move out. It was discussed, consented mutually, even though I really did not want to. Because I know moving back here is gonna be another fucking nightmare. And it did happen. So forward to 2022, we were doing fine. My mother wants me to move back home herself. She asked me. I wouldn't say she begged me, yeah. She practically, you know, with a nice soft heart, pleaded for me to come home during 2019. Year 2019. There's 2 empty bedrooms, she says. Second sister have moved out, so there's 2 empty bedrooms. Come back home, she said. And I asked her this question. Are you going to force me to move out again if things doesn't go your crazy way? She said yes. It wouldn't happen again. She made me this final promise. And I bought in. Unfortunately, I bought into her bullshit. And so I moved on. I moved back in. And for the very first time, I finally felt like I'm back home. Things were good for the first 2 years. 1 year plus. 1 year. A year. My parents proceeded with renting out the other room to the piano teacher, remember? Things were good. I was paying for the internet, I was paying for groceries without complaining. It was unconditional. Okay, let's just call it I'm paying my dues. Alright? Unfortunately, I can't give them actual monetary contribution in cash or through transfer because my work and my personal relationship. You guys should know what happened during 2022, yeah? 2020. The downfall of our Twitch channel. Anyway, skipping that, we started on YouTube. Moving back home already. 2020, June was the unfortunate incident, which I take full responsibility for it. I scared a lot of people during that one live stream that caused us to suffer the consequences of a 10-month suspension. But unfortunately, I didn't have a voice, even though I have exhausted all my resources to contact Twitch to tell them that I did not commit all this offense that you said. Please unban. Or give me a lesser suspension, you know? It was an indefinite suspension. Because of a broken, toxic, bad romance. I'm not going to go into details about that romance. You guys should know. Those of you who are following me and this channel since forever, since Division days. Coming back to the family matter, life was good. Even with this fucked up shit I had to, even during the downfall of the Twitch channel, we started on YouTube. And you guys were here. Life was good with us. My relationship with my parents finally picked up. But after the piano teacher moved out, after 10 months or coming close to a year staying here, he found a better place to stay in a condominium with his fellow piano colleagues, piano teacher colleagues. And then come with another new tenant, Singaporean. An asshole. An actual mofo, motherfucker, who actually agreed to stay here with us, with the contract, signed contract, for the minimum period of he has to stay. If not, his deposit will get defeated. What do you call this? He will not be able to get back his deposit. Okay? He weaponized my work and me making noises in the middle of the night to get out of the rental contract. And that was the truth. Because I tell you why. He agreed to everything when he came here to visit the whole place. He knew about our job here. He knew that we were broadcasters in the middle of the night, Singapore time. He knew. And he said, okay, he signed. However, my father and my mother blame the situation on me. That I was making too much noise. The tenant is complaining, all because they needed the money. I'm not gonna blame them for needing the money, but don't blame it on me, man. I'm not the one that signed the contract and says and acknowledge that, yeah, I'm aware of your work. But why didn't the piano teacher complain though, you gotta ask? Right? The piano teacher was like our family. Even BB goes into his room once in a while and just sit below him, waiting for snacks and listen to him play the electronic piano. He's like a family. So after the bad tenant moved in, he was a Grab driver, by the way, local, Singaporean. He weaponizes my work and get off the contract early. And without my acknowledgement, he was given back his deposit. He stayed here for free for a month. I confronted the Grab driver before the big fallout with my former father, mother, about this incident. Sorry. I confronted the tenant, the Grab driver. Didn't you already sign a contract claiming that you're aware of my work and you're okay with it? And then he pushed the blame verbatim to my parents. That it was my parents who complained, not him. If you guys want to believe me or not, those of you who is watching this recording, believe me or not, this was what happened. Hence the fallout, yeah, with my parents. Because my parents took his side. My parents did not believe my words. That the tenant pushed the blame on my parents. That it was my parents who was complaining and not him. When I confronted him about the contract and his agreement about acknowledging that oh, it's gonna be fine, you know, oh, you're a broadcaster, okay, I'll move in. He just didn't like it. Suddenly, you know, we have many entitled fucked up people in this world, yeah? It's not uncommon to bump into asshole like the last tenant. Moving forward to the story, after the major fallout with my father, him taking the tenant's side because of money, it was a big fallout. It was a very huge fallout. My father decided not to rent out the place anymore. I can only assume, allegedly, my father is guilty. He knew that he fucked up. He was blinded again by money. And I was once again the bad apple in that story. Moving forward, my awesome former sisters suggested to my parents, with one of them loaning 5 figures sum of money from both of them former parents to renovate and pay for her new house in east side of Singapore. After that, yeah, and then she, along with elder sis, apparently suggested to my parents that they should probably pawn this place back to the government without my consent, misusing my information without my consent, even though I said repeatedly no. Nope. And the only excuse that they have, verbatim from their mouth, is, you never contributed anything to this family anyway. How the fuck would they know? I don't brag about it. I give unconditionally. What the fuck do they know about my life since I was supporting myself since I was 14 and living outside and still giving money to the family at the same time? Anyway, on top of all the childhood abuse both sisters inflicted on me, it became a norm. They really disregarded my existence. They do not know anything about the trauma we've been through, I've been through, this channel been through, and all of the achievement, hardship that we have overcome and became stronger. We represented Singapore in a netball, national netball team when we were in high school too. I represented my school to compete with other schools every single year throughout my middle school and high school. Before I had to drop out when I was 14, 15. High school year 3. When you're abused long enough by your family, as a woman, as a little girl, you don't have your own bedroom to sleep. You have to sleep in the living room with your uncles, father's brothers, younger brothers. You will never feel safe. I never felt safe. Do you know what actually was the turning point of my story, guys? Ironically, because of the social workers coming into my life. So for that, I am grateful. I told my social worker, no matter what, no matter what and how we got onto this point, I will always be grateful for you to be helping me, doing the right thing 36 hours ago. 2 days ago during the family meeting, he fought for me. He did the right thing. I think I would like to believe that it is due to also the fact that yours truly kept fighting. Thanks to you guys. Thanks to the policemen that came over last Monday. Their words of encouragement, knowing our story, to keep fighting. They saw the abuse themselves. I shall fucking kill you and your fucking baby, my mother said 3 times that day. My achievements. Can this be eaten in front of the policeman? And I responded to her in front of the policeman that yes, is how I've been trying to contribute to the family. These achievements, which has absolutely nothing to do with anyone in this fucked up family. My own achievement, my own grind with my own hard-earned money. Or hard-earned bobase. As a young teenager or a child without any literacy of English or knowledge in any department or have any skills, I have to resort to working in nightclubs, pubs, bars, serving adults alcoholic drinks. And during my time of work, you can be sure to know, right? Employers will abuse teenagers like myself, not giving our fair share of treatment, and always side with the customer who abuses us. And the employer himself underpaying us. We didn't have a voice to speak up like right now, back then. Out of context, never mind, coming back to the main story. Letter to court, dated February 2022. Once I managed to type out the letter on my own without anybody's help, it was the hardest letter I have ever had to type in my whole life. The hardest letter. Why? Because it speaks the whole truth, the family history of this toxic family up until this trial, that trial, last month, a couple of months started ago. Even though she, the social worker, was very well informed and forwarded to her after the letter to court was written and done by me, she refused to read. Even beside the letter, every time when there's a commotion, my abusers start to go crazy, I inform her about it. She always say she will get back to us later, next week. Before the trial, I have to seek for application for discovery, remember? And legal aid refused to give me legal aid. I was by myself when I hit to the legal aid building, in Outram Park, in the CBD area, Central Business District. Then coming back, let's just say that the first social worker, she, the emotional supporter of my abusers, if she could have heard both sides of the story like 36 hours ago, 7 or 8 months ago, right, we wouldn't have come to this video. And until today, she is still putting the words in my mouth that I'm the one that wants to seek rental flat help, where it was her client, my abuser's agenda, to want me out of this house, painting me as the bad guy. Good news, I have faith in my social worker, because that was a story I told him the very first time I saw him. Very first time. Because I was wondering how come he contacted me, you see. I didn't even know they have been in touch by themselves, you know, the abusers. Before my social worker came into the picture, he's a 25 years young gentleman. He was fed with the narrative, right? I was a bad sin. And they believe my abuser story. They want me out of the house so that they can proceed with the HDB lease that has been dragging for the last 2 years until today. But guess what? I can only allege and assume, thank you HDB, for declining the application to lease the HDB flat back to you. Thank you HDB, you're amazing. I'm very grateful about that. Because I can only allege and assume that HDB knew the abusers were using my information without my consent. They were very aware, extremely aware. I can only assume this is the only reason they refused the application of the HDB lease back to the government, even though this place has no name of mine. But guess what? I am still their daughter. I exist. This is my home, supposedly, yeah. And they're giving me no choice. And let me know, you can still stay here after parents die, you know. You can live here for 30 years more. Yeah, after that you'll be homeless. I don't want to live a life knowing that I'll be evicted after 30 years, man. I want to know for sure I have a permanent home. Or at least give me a permanent home until I have the capability to find my own permanent home. Do not take away my autonomy. Do not disregard my wellness. Do not disregard my call for help. Do not disregard my contribution to this family. Do not disregard about the fact that all my abusers has no absolute contribution to my life and all of our achievements. What they contributed so far were discouragement, still trying to pay me in front of the judge. I'm the bad apple, I'm the bad seed, making up lies, committing perjury, covering each other's abuse against me, yours truly. Enough now. And I beg for any social worker who has the power and authority to investigate in this particular social worker who claims to always be supporting my abusers. Because guess what, guys? Yours truly wouldn't have been, we wouldn't have been suffered. You guys wouldn't have been dragged along with me, yeah? Along with my depressive streams. Having to sit through and bear through this fucked up, toxic family episode. If she did her job right in the first place. Without giving her biased judgment, without hearing my story in the first place. She never heard my story. She immediately decided that I should be out of the house. And she put it in record in her own words. I'm the one seeking for rental help assistance. Which is not my words, yeah? So I beg for anyone who understands and is clear about this situation I just shared in this video, please help me. I'm gonna reach out to one of our Singapore most well-known attorney about this. If nothing is done, I will bring matters to my hand, just like right now. And I would like everybody to acknowledge, and myself, to let you guys know that I have been patient enough, loving and kind enough, that even after going through this piece of shit story for the last 7-8 months, I am still being very kind to everyone, including my abusers. Thank you for watching. Look forward to your comments under the comment section.